I grew up in a family that Rotary was a shared experience. My dad had joined Rotary in Markdale when we first lived there in 1959. And when we moved to Belleville in '64, Dad joined the Rotary Club of Belleville. And as a young child, I remember going to meetings at the Tropicana Room in the Hotel Quinny, or going to Christmas parties when the club moved for a period of time at the Sun Valley Motor Inn. So I grew up knowing Rotary, and it just seemed to be a natural extension that, yeah, this is something I wanted to do as well.
So the reason why my dad wanted me to be in Rotary is that I really didn't have time. I thought, boy, every Monday at noon hour, I haven't got time. I'm in real estate, I'm really busy and so forth. And so he sat down and did the father-son talk and says, son, you can't keep taking out of the community. You have to give back. And if you give back, you will be successful. So I thought, okay, I had a lot of respect for what my dad said, and that is why I actually got into Rotary.
I joined Rotary because a past president named Ken Wheeler invited me to join. He worked at McDougall Insurance where I worked and suggested it would be a good idea. And specifically he said, if you want to sell insurance, join the Sales and Ad Club. But if you want to do something good for the community and meet people, join the Rotary Club of Belleville.
I had been involved in Rotary sort of on a side way. My father, past President Dick Baker, was heavily involved in Rotary when we moved to Belleville starting in the 70s. And as soon as I had a driver's license, I was taking kids to Roblin Lake and to camp. I was selling raffle tickets. I was sort of his junior person, I guess, if you will, on the volunteer side, and would do the things that he wasn't able to do. So for me, it was just a natural to join the club later on, once the club decided to let women into. I will tell you as well, my father was a no vote in all of that debate. But I think he came to see that women have a lot to add to the club, and eventually agreed that yes, it was the right thing to do.
Well, I knew from experience in the community that the people who were Rotarians were very, very fine people. They were concerned about growth and development and making the place a better place to live.
It was the whole idea of giving back to the community from which I was deriving a good living, and who had embraced and were very good to me and my family.
I joined the Rotary Club first and foremost because I was invited to join it. But as a young lad, I had lived in a neighboring community to one with a Rotary Club that was very community-minded. And I gained a great respect for it. And when I came to Belleville, pretty well everyone I had worked with was either a member and or a past president of the Rotary Club of Belleville, and I respected all of them.
I joined Rotary because at the point in my career, I was managing National Trust in downtown Belleville. And it was a great spot to be working. Now, if you're from the Belleville area and you've been here for a long time, you might know that that was Victorian Grey before it was National Trust. So Victorian Grey was also the branch that was built in beautiful downtown Belleville many years before, and the first manager was Rotarian Bud Trill. So when I took over as manager of National Trust, Bud said to me, "You've got to join Rotary." And so I really didn't know a lot about it at that point in time, but Bud started to enlighten me, and he was really excited for two counts. Number one, that I was managing his old stomping grounds, and number two, that I would even consider joining Rotary.
I joined the Rotary Club in 1997. I lived in Toronto, moved back to Belleville, and wanted to reconnect to the city. And that Rotary Club was a club I heard about since I was a young person through the Rotary Music Festival. And so my father-in-law, Burl Summers, was also a member of the club, and so he suggested I join as part of reconnecting to the city, and that's the rest is history.
Well, I was new to Belleville, and I was looking for a chance to become involved in the business and professional network here to get to know the community. And I felt I also had some contributions that I could give at the community service level towards volunteer projects. So being new to town, looking to become involved, it was a good opportunity, I thought, to join at that time.
Michael Maloney made me. He kept inviting me to lunch, and I thought I didn't have time. And then I liked it, and then I found the time.
Actually, I grew up with community service in my family. My parents were both Lions and Lioness members. I'd actually been part of Lions leading up to joining Rotary, but I decided that with the bit of business and the projects that they were doing just suited me better.
Rotary has been a part of my life ever since I was a child. I grew up in a Rotary family. So I've been familiar with the Rotary organization on different levels ever since I was a kid. I have fond memories of my mom and dad traveling abroad and attending Rotary international conventions. So Rotary has really been a huge part of my life for many, many years. So I guess you could say, or I guess I could say, it just seemed natural for me to become a Rotarian.
I joined Rotary in '96 because I was, although I lived in the area after moving from Toronto, I was new to Belleville, and a friend of mine had invited me to join, and I thought, I'm not a joiner, really. I'm not a member of any other organization, but the idea of working with people that wanted to make a difference, that cared for things beyond just personal financial advancement and wanted to make a difference, cared about other people. I thought that was pretty good, and it gave me a chance to meet new people.
The opportunity to join the Rotary Club came up as I have a long history with the Rotary Club, and my father was a past president of the Belleville Club, and when I moved back to Belleville in 2005, he encouraged me to come out to a meeting, and I actually had Bill McKay Sr. act as my sponsor. He is somebody I knew through Belleville for many years ago, and the chance to work in the community, provide that opportunity to be of service in the community, and as well network with people in the community, many of whom I knew as I went to high school in Belleville.